Welcome, officers. Let's get right to it. The work you're about to take on is, without a doubt, at the very heart of modernizing Indian railways. We're here to talk about environment and housekeeping management, or as you'll get to know it, EnHM. And believe me, this is so much more than just cleaning. It's about shaping the future of sustainable public transport in our country. Your mandate is critical, so let's dive in.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the big picture, the why behind all of this. Our vision is frankly ambitious. We want to position Indian Railways as a world leader in sustainable transport. So how are we going to get there? Well, that's where our mission comes in. It's our promise to conserve energy, to champion clean alternatives, to guarantee a hygienic, top-notch experience for every single customer, and to push relentlessly towards zero waste. Every decision you make, every project you oversee, it all has to tie back to these core ideas. So, here's our roadmap for this briefing. We'll start with the mission and structure, the who and the how. Then we'll get into the two main pillars of your job, housekeeping and environment. After that, we'll talk about how it all gets funded and the current operating model, which is key, and we'll wrap up by pulling it all together into your final mandate. Pretty straightforward.
Right then, to really get a handle on your role, you've got to understand where the EnHM wing even came from. Let's take a quick look at its origins and how it fits into the whole Indian Railways organization.
You see, the EnHM wing didn't just appear overnight. It really started back in January 2015 as a dedicated environment directorate. Just a few months later, in April, its role was defined as a monitoring agency, not an executing one. Now, remember that point, because it's going to be really important later. Then, in August 2015, it merged with housekeeping, creating the EnHM directorate we have today. And by early 2016, all the officer posts were standardized.
Now, before rolling this out across the entire country, we had to test this new integrated approach. So, the EnHM wing was first launched as a pilot project in three really key divisions: Firozpur up on Northern Railway, Secunderabad on South Central, and Chennai down on Southern Railway. The lessons we learned there really shaped the national rollout for everyone. And this chart is all about where you fit in. As of 2016, the chain of command is crystal clear. At the HQ level, you've got the CENH at the Senior Administrative Grade, or SAG level. But at the divisional level, which is where most of you will be, the team is led by a Senior DENH at the Junior Administrative Grade, or JAG level. Knowing this hierarchy is absolutely essential for operating effectively.
Okay, let's get into the meat of it. First up, the first of your two core duties, the complete end-to-end management of all our housekeeping services.
Your housekeeping world is basically split in two: what happens on the train and what happens at the station. On board the trains, your focus is the total passenger experience. We're talking onboard housekeeping services, mechanized cleaning back at the depot, and of course, critical things like pest control and making sure the linen is spotless. Then you've got our major A1 and A-class stations. There, you're responsible for the entire area the public sees, right down to small repairs on benches and taps. The scope is just massive.
So, you might be asking, how in the world do we ensure a consistent standard of cleanliness all the way from Firozpur to Chennai? Well, the answer is the Standard Bid Document of 2017. I want you to think of this as your rulebook. It's the one framework that standardizes every single outsourced cleaning contract we have. Everything from staff numbers to the exact type of cleaning machines they have to use.
And this is where you can see the real power of the SBD. It gets incredibly detailed. It defines qualifications for manpower, the types, even the brands of machines, and the approved cleaning agents. And what's really crucial, it sets the cleaning frequency. And this is the key part, it includes strict penalty clauses for not performing. This isn't just a guideline, folks, it's a powerful enforcement tool.
All right, we've covered housekeeping. Let's pivot now to your second major hat: environmental stewardship and resource conservation. Now, your work on the environment isn't just a nice idea, it's grounded in national law. These 5 acts are the primary legal framework that you will be operating under. From the Water and Air Acts back in the 70s and 80s to the big one, the Environment Protection Act of 1986, these are the laws that give our mission its authority and, frankly, its urgency. A massive piece of your environmental mandate is cutting our energy use, and we attack this on 2 fronts. First, there's traction energy. That's the power that actually moves our trains. Here, we're really leaning on technology like regenerative braking and more efficient locos. Then there's non-traction energy. That's everything else: stations, workshops, offices, you name it. The strategy there is pretty straightforward. Do audits, switch every single light to LED, and make sure any new appliance we buy is at least 3-star rated. For water, our strategy is simple but incredibly powerful, all guided by the 2017 water policy. It's just 3 words: reduce, recycle, and recharge. We reduce consumption with water audits and efficient taps. We recycle water by building new recycling plants, and we recharge the groundwater through mandatory rainwater harvesting and bringing old water bodies on railway land back to life.
So how do we prove to ourselves and to the public that we're meeting our goals? Through mandatory certifications. Our major sites, think big workshops and depots, are required to get these ISO standards for quality, environment, safety, and energy management. On top of that, all our new buildings must aim for a GRIHA rating. That's our national rating system for green buildings. This stuff is not optional. It's how we hold ourselves accountable.
And this slide right here shows you the tangible, real-world projects that fall under your control. We're talking about water conservation, sewage treatment plants, solid waste solutions like turning waste into compost or even energy, and of course, things like bio-toilets. This is basically your menu of options for making a real, measurable environmental impact.
So we know the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. How do we fund all these initiatives and actually get them executed?
I want you to burn this number into your memory. 1%. This is probably the most powerful funding tool you have at your disposal. The rule is simple. A 1% lump sum provision must be earmarked in every single works estimate, specifically for environment-related projects. What this means is that environmental progress is no longer an afterthought. It's now hardwired into the budget of everything we build. Okay, and this brings us to what is arguably the most critical operational update you need to be aware of. Back in 2018, a major revision clarified everyone's roles and responsibilities, and it defines the exact way we work today.
Please pay close attention here because this is the single biggest shift in how we operate. As of 2018, the EnHM wing is no longer an executing body. The day-to-day management of contracts, the budgets, the physical work, that now belongs to the user departments. For example, the commercial department now handles station cleaning contracts. Your role has fundamentally shifted. You are now the strategists, the monitors, the policymakers. You set the standards, you ensure compliance, and you coordinate with bodies like the National Green Tribunal. But you will not be managing contractors on the ground. This is a huge change to your mandate.
Okay, let's bring all of this home. Let's summarize the mandate that you are all here to undertake. Here are the 5 things I need you to remember. Number 1, you are part of a mission to create a green, sustainable railway. 2, you have dual mandates. You're juggling both housekeeping and the environment. 3, your key enforcement tools are that 2017 SBD and the National Pollution Control Acts. 4, and this is the big one, your role is policy and monitoring, not direct execution. And finally, number 5, your success completely depends on how well you can collaborate with the user departments because they now control the budgets and the execution. Look, the work you're about to do is absolutely essential to the future of Indian railways. The standards have been set, the structure is in place, and the mission could not be clearer. The only question left is the one you see right here. Welcome to EnHM. This briefing is concluded.